G'day folks, Pat Callinan here. As I travel around Australia, I often get asked one question. Pat, are there any 4x4 tracks or destinations that you haven't been to? Well, there so happens to be one, and I'm going to show you this episode. Where is it and why haven't I been here? Well, it's because I've been saving it for our 15th anniversary, but I can't wait to show you.
This episode I'll be driving the next-gen Ford Everest Sport V6, jacked up on Outback Armour suspension with some Nighthawk VLI flamethrowers off the front. My social media boffin Josh Leonard will be steering the Ford Ranger V6 equipped with an Aussie-designed Rhino rack on top, along with a bushwhacker awning. But this episode, we've got a surprise contender on board, a brand new factory-fresh twin-turbo Ranger Raptor. It will be driven by one of Ford's design chiefs, Ian Foston. Last episode, we took the back way across the Bight from Ceduna to Eucla. You can check that out on the Mr 4x4 app. But this time, we resume our journey at Cocklebiddy. Then we drive down to Twilight Cove and out to the Baxter Cliffs. Then we fuel up at Bilbunya before going to Cape Arid and the Bilbunya Dunes. Then it's on to Lucky Bay and out the back of Esperance at Wiley Rock. From the Cocklebiddy Roadhouse, we hit the road south, making a beeline for the coast. Soon enough, we hit the strangely named Neutsland Conservation Park. It's named after Dutch explorer Peter Neuts, who sailed the rugged coastline here in 1627, well before Captain Cook dropped anchor. Well, Ian, I have been filming this show for 15 years, mate, and I can't say that I have ever had an engineer for the vehicle that I'm driving accompany me on a journey. So thank you so much for coming along.
It's an absolute pleasure. In fact, it's an honour to be with you, Pat. I know you're a legend, so great to be driving with you.
Oh, I don't know about legend, mate, but I appreciate the kind words. So what's it like actually driving vehicles around the bush and seeing your cars that you have actually designed on the road?
I think, it's like any young boy's dream is, being involved in developing cars and actually getting to design it, develop it, build it, and then actually see customers driving it around. So yeah, driving it today with you is just a dream come true, it really is.
Oh man, I can't imagine the feeling. I think it'll be quite a buzz just seeing cars all kitted out for adventure, and you've had a major part in that. So what exactly is your role with Ford and with the development of these cars?
I actually head up the global engineering team that's developed these products all the way through from concept right through to produce them in the plant. So my kind of title is a global chief engineer, and I kind of look after the Ranger, the Everest, the Amarok and the Raptor.
And where's most of your team based?
The vast majority are actually here in Australia. So they've got really great knowledge of what it takes to deliver fantastic trucks and SUVs, and they were chosen by our organisation to be the team that actually engineered these products.
So Ian, I've been driving the next gen Ranger and Everest around a bit lately, and I've been playing around with the different terrain settings and modes that you can choose from, and I'm wondering how Ford decided what drive modes and four-wheel drive options they should include into each terrain setting to make sure they're getting the best out of the vehicles.
That's part of as I would say, the secret sauce of how we've made this next generation product. Really great to drive off-road, and the words we used to use during development, it's sort of thing that it flatters the novice and assists the expert. So the drive modes are there to adjust all the different parameters on the vehicle to make sure that the vehicle is effectively preset to the right settings before it finds itself actually on that particular terrain.
As we dropped off the plateau, we meandered between the lush green foliage, the lumps and bumps of the aft dunes making for a brilliant drive. It is an unusually long entree into the beach. You would normally just bowl straight from a bush track onto the beach in Australia, but here you are winding your way seemingly endlessly onto the beach, and it's taking quite a while. I'm very glad the car is wrapped because the bush is quite thick and a little bit scratchy, as you can hear it. But the scenery along the side of this track is quite unusual. Massive big mountain range up there that looks like it's one giant connected boulder, and that then rolls into the sand dune. It's really quite a spectacular feature. Really unusual. Haven't seen something quite like that before. Wow, what a massive beach. This just goes on and on and on. This gorgeous whiteness. Oh, and the colour of that water, just superb. Thank you, Western Australia. You continue to dish it up. Your gloriousness. Isn't that just the prettiest sight?
Now, what can I say? Absolutely stunning. It's beautiful. The clear water, sandy beaches, and the cliffs behind us. Yeah, amazing.
It's really got me wondering, how can somewhere this beautiful be left just for us to enjoy? Where's everyone else?
Exactly, well said, mate. I mean, the sand drifts over the tracks as we came in suggested there was no one here, and there's definitely no one here, but it's really quite unusual. I mean, we've all driven a lot of beaches around the place, but I've never driven one quite like this, with the colour of the sand, the lumpy sort of mid-dunes and fore-dunes there, but surrounded by that beautiful big sandstone cliff. It's just amazing.
I think there's only one word for it, isn't it? It's breathtaking.
Couldn't agree more, but I'm getting hungry. How about we pull up for some lunch, eh?
Starving, mate. Let's do it.
If this beach were closer to civilization, it would most certainly boast a resort. But as it is, we're the only lucky souls here. We're not the first to land though. The crew of the ship Twilight were shipwrecked on these beautiful white sands in 1877 during the construction of the intercolonial telegraph line. And that's where Twilight Cove got its name. After the break, I get a little lost. And we help out a young bloke who ran out of luck. The climb out of Twilight Cove is rough, rocky, and a whole lot of fun. Well, they're calling this a hazardous ascent, requiring low-range vehicles, and it's a good one. It's good fun. I mean, a few side slopes, a little bit of wheel-up action. It's not often that you get a gorgeous swim at a beach and a most beautiful beach, and then you get a cool drive out of here. I've made this look a little harder than it is, as I thought I'd try it out on traction control alone, without the rear diff lock activated. But Ian, well, he shows how it's done in the Red Rocket. Did you guys catch a look at those emus back there?
No, we sure did. What a sight.
They didn't seem too fazed that we were there either, still going about their daily business.
Yeah, geez, they're cute to see, those little juveniles. They just look, they're just the most unusual looking things. They never get old. Well, as beautiful as this track has been, I've gone the wrong way. There's very little detail on these maps. So at the intersection, when I got to the top of the range, I took a hard left, and that was the wrong turn, and because I was staring at that beautiful view and I was heading in roughly the right direction, I didn't bother looking back at the map. But it turns out I'd strayed probably half a K to a kilometre off track. Although, you know, I always like taking the wrong turns because sometimes they take you to a great view and some great tracks. Do I care? Not really. The drive into camp that afternoon was rough, but absolutely worth it. After a long day at the wheel, Mother Nature gifted us with a sunset to savour. Sometimes you just want to bottle these moments. As day broke, we filled our bellies with coffee and cereal and continued up the track. There are precious few signs around this park, but this one told us we were heading in the right direction. There are many tracks around Australia that I just recommend that people just drive. Get in your car, go for it. Standard vehicle, modified vehicle, who cares? Just get into it. This is not one of them. This is the sort of track that does really take some time and effort to drive. You don't get places fast. You are driving, like at the moment, I'm driving at 13 kilometers per hour. Also, the vegetation really does encroach on the track because it sees basically zero maintenance. So as a result, my mirrors have been pushed in maybe 20 times so far. Is it worth it? My oath it is.
In terms of things to actually see out here, there's not a whole lot, but this is one of the highlights. This is a memorial for a fella called John Baxter, and he was part of the air expedition out here in 1841. The 29th of April was a bad day for him. He was actually shot by two of the Aboriginals that they had in that expedition. And as a result of the harsh limestone environment around here, they couldn't even dig a hole for him. They just wrapped him in a blanket and left him where he lay. But not only has he been immortalised here with this memorial, the magnificent Baxter Cliffs, just up the road from here, have been named in his honour.
Well, how do you like this drive, guys?
Yeah, fantastic. It certainly beats being in the office.
Still just doesn't feel quite real that you can drive along these stretches of coastline like this.
I just love the plant life along here. It's just like a little bonsai forest. Everything's been, you know, whipped by the wind and rain and stunted through lack of soil, I think, and it just creates this amazing environment that opens up the ocean for you because it's completely unobstructed.
Yeah, they're certainly hardy plants. You're looking at the root structure, you just wonder how they're getting any water or nutrients out here.
Especially considering they had a hard enough time trying to bury Baxter. How do the root systems even push through this hard earth?
Yeah, they're obviously so hardy, and you know, they definitely handle months and months without rain out here, I'd say too. Times like this just makes you want to say, would you look at my continent? Isn't she a stunner? After soaking up the Baxter Cliffs, we headed north again to fill up the tanks. Then it was south from Bilbunya and back on the dirt. This random gate has been decorated by travellers with all sorts of clothing and footwear. So Josh decided to leave his G-string, his thong. Just down the road, we discovered a remnant of the past.
Amazing natural water source here. The granite kind of captures everything and stores it beautifully, and you can see that the water level is actually much higher. This is a registered Aboriginal site, and just the clarity of the water in there, and even the life of the tadpoles in there, this is a wonderful water source. And it used to be used not just as a water hole, but also as a navigation point, and they're dotted right through this part of the WA bush.
Coming up, Australia's most monstrous dunes. Well, currently the Gora Road is shut, so we've had to come in through Fisheries Road, and as soon as we have jumped on the start of this, we got a little bit of mud to negotiate. Plenty of traction underneath though, so it is just a nice little christening. This area, if you are from the East Coast states, you won't see too much of this. It is absolutely beautiful. It is full of xanthorrhea, which are grass trees, and the banksias at the moment are absolutely popping. This stuff around here, I think you'd call it a low-set heathland, but the grass trees, the banksias, they're just beautiful. There's some kangaroo paws just through there. What a blessing to see kangaroo paws blossoming in their native environment, in their native state.
It's a long run up here with no towns, no services, and definitely no fuel. We've had to calculate our fuel range big time here and take into account the soft tracks that will definitely increase our fuel consumption. We've got a 125 litre tank installed in the Everest and a 160 litre tank in the Ranger. But Ian has had to pack a few jerry cans in his stock Raptor petrol V6.
This is a copybook demonstration of a bow wave, something we should all aim for during water crossings. Look at how Josh is pushing the water in front of him, so the water at the height of the grill is lower than the height of the front of the bow wave. It's all about picking the right speed, too fast or too slow, and the water lands in your engine bay causing potential damage. But this is the perfect speed. Nice one, mate.
A little further down the track, I spied something strange in this remote area. A young bloke running.
How you going, mate?
Hey man, nice day for a jog.
Car's gone flooded about like 4 or 5 k's up that way. Just wondering if you guys had like satellite phone or.
Willis was planning on running about 60 to 80 kilometres with nothing but a small water bottle and a can of Red Bull. He was in serious danger and could well have succumbed to dehydration running that far with so little water. But he wasn't out of trouble yet. His diesel engine had sucked in a gut full of water. And diesels are a lot more picky than petrol engines when it comes to fuel quality. So Josh and Ian set to work trying to flush the water out of his engine and fuel system.
I was kind of prepared just to keep going until I got phone service and I could call somebody. Yeah. Luckily, as I ran into you guys.
Have you done much full driving in the past, mate? Or?
Well, full driving, you don't currently count this as full driving, but back with like my dad, he's a bit more into it than I am, so I've gone with him, but never solo like this. Full driving, no.
Yeah, fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Well, we will do our best to try and help you out. If we can't get it running again, we'll at the very least, get the sat phone cranking and see if we can get some help in here. So.
Nah, I appreciate that, Pat.
No, my pleasure, mate. We'll try and get you on the road. We're in a remote part of Western Australia at the moment, and we've come across a fella who's hydraulicked his vehicle. Lucky for him, he's come across a TV film crew who happen to have a Ford engineer and a mechanic on board. So we're really doing our best to try and help him out using our tools to get him back on the road. But if he wasn't so lucky, he'd really want to have recovery cover for his vehicle, because it would be an incredibly expensive recovery out of this part of Western Australia. So keep that in mind when you're travelling remote parts of Oz, to have recovery cover built in to your 4x4 insurance policy. Club 4x4 is one company that does it, probably the only company that does it that I'm aware of. You can get $1,500 worth of recovery cover, or you can even bump it up to $15,000 or $30,000 worth of recovery cover. So it's a lot of peace of mind, because this would be one seriously expensive extrication.
looking for any water ingress around the bottom of the injector there.
Seems to be certainly dirt there, and there's some emulsification at the top.
Poor Willis, you could clearly see the stress on his face. If this car doesn't start, then he's got big, expensive trouble ahead of him. How will he get out of here? And to his final destination of Kalgoorlie.
Once the injector's out, it's going to be nice. Normally in my kit with me, I would have a little camera that you can stick down the injector into the cylinder and have a quick look and just see if there's any damage or any water in there. We're going to try and probably do that with an iPhone, something like that, and have a quick look down there. And then once we check that, we'll probably be turning the engine over and try and see if we can get any water to come out with the normal stroke of the pistons going up and down in the cylinders.
This is slow and tedious work in less than ideal conditions, but we're determined to help out this young adventurer. All of us have been in similar positions early in our adventure pursuits. This must be heartbreaking for Willis. It's not looking good. Things aren't getting easier. Now Willis's battery has given up the ghost, and we've had to loan him one of ours to help kick him over. What an experience to help this young bloke get back on the road. So, with a few water crossing tips, we bid Willis goodbye and headed back along the track towards the Bilbunya dunes. Well, fellas, I think we made one young man very, very happy, but let's face it, we've all been there, haven't we? And we've needed a helping hand on the road.
We're all stoked as well. There's nothing better than helping somebody out when you're on the trails and they're in trouble.
Mate, I've found myself in Willis's exact position or predicament before, and I remember the gut wrench, so I'm happy we were there, and I'm happy he's safe now.
It's genuinely what I love about four-wheel driving. We live in such a digital world, but four-wheel driving is one of those tangible things where you can help people out, and often people need a helping hand. And it's fun to give that helping hand. It makes you feel good, but it's also nice to receive that helping hand because, you know, there's a real humanity behind it that you just don't find in a lot of other lifestyles.
Yeah, I tell you what, Pat, you know, I've overlanded all over the world, and what I take away is human beings are inherently good, and they want to help you regardless of where they are in the world, the situation that you're in. If you're in trouble, they'll always try and help you. And I know it sounds a very naive thing to say, but it's just so true that overlanding kind of has that spirit, doesn't it, of helping each other out.
And it's not just that, you know, we're out here filming a show, these schedules are tight, but there was no question none of us were going to leave without getting that car going, or at least getting Willis back to town. 4 drivers, we're one big family, and I know that definitely does sound like a cliche, but it's something I firmly believe. I've never felt unsafe on the road, never felt truly stranded, because I knew at some point someone would always be there to help if I needed it, and today we were those people for him. It's just a great thing.
Still to come, can we manage to drive Australia's biggest sand dunes? Plus, some other locations that will blow your mind, and maybe your transfer case. As the sun sank lower in the sky, we still had a few kilometres to make camp. The tracks here snake all over the place, but there's a smooth run along the flat. But smooth can sometimes mean soft. very soft.
Well, that just caught us all out. We've been driving on this hard stuff. I thought it was hard stuff for kilometre after kilometre, and then bang, down we went in it. I'm not quite stuck at the moment. I've got a little bit of traction there, but have a look at this. Josh has succumbed to the mighty clay bog underneath the sand here, and wow, he is stuck. What do you reckon, mate? What's
History keeps repeating itself. I've run out of traction and ability.
Oh man, so no forward, no backward. Obviously everything's locked, lockers on and everything.
Lock's on, 4 low.
Yeah,
Low
okay.
pressures, just sticky clay.
Okay, well we might try and get the Raptor onto this slightly higher, harder stuff and just see if we can whip you out. We'll hook her up.
People just don't understand. I went to the Instagram school of full driving. I mean, granted it was before Instagram existed, but it just makes me look bad, doesn't it?
Those tow points on the back, are they rated recovery points?
Yeah, they are indeed, Pat, yeah. So they're rated to at least, 1 times GVM, so
Oh, brilliant.
each tow hook.
Oh, how
so
easy
that
is
gives
that?
us then, the ability to pull out people who are stuck, because, it's like with the force when you're stuck in mud, it almost like doubles the weight of the vehicle that you're pulling out. So
How good is that, folks? Factory rated recovery points on the back of the four-wheel drive, so you don't have to buy extra ones. Is that factory mud on the rearview mirrors as well, mate?
it certainly is. I can't see much out of there.
Working load limit, so WLL, that's what that means. 4 tonne.
4 ton, great.
So, and usually that means that they've been tested to 8, or they usually. So that's very safe to pull the Ranger out. But we'll still throw a cable dampener over for people that haven't done much of this before. Back her off half a turn. Don't actually do it nice and tight because this is a really short recovery. It's not going to come loose, but it could bind up under the pressure of the snatch strap.
But it's like glue. As soon as you try and move forward, it's just
Thankfully,
once you've broken the crust, it's like glue, isn't it?
Yeah, this is pretty interesting, folks. We've now got the vehicle that was trying to do the towing has now got bogged. It's a situation that's not that common in four-wheel driving, and the challenge here is there's no anchor points to actually pull a vehicle off, and my car is down there, so I'm not actually bogged, but this is my way out of here. I don't think I can actually go forward and assist these vehicles. Maybe I might have to try, but then I'm going into the really deep stuff that I specifically stopped going forward for because I was losing traction. So we're in a pickle.
If I can just get my Everest onto some firm ground, maybe then I can help the other guys.
Okay, well, I don't think I'm getting to Bilbunya tonight. In fact, I can guarantee I'm not getting to Bilbunya tonight. So what I'm going to do is just reverse up a little bit and try and get a bit of a run up so I can just get back up onto the hard stuff, which will be a challenge, but we'll see how we go. So I've got the differential lock activated. I'm in 4 low. Traction control is actually turned off in this situation because I don't want it slowing the vehicle down through these ruts. Okay, so we'll see how we go. Wish me luck. And we made it. There we go. Oh boy, that mud stinks. But we are through. So now I can hopefully help a couple of other guys who are stuck.
Well, I reckon we disconnect him from you because there's no sense trying to pull 2 vehicles out in one hit. There'd be sort of, what would there be? Geez, nearly 6 tons of, of rig there. So we'll keep it to 2.5, whatever the Raptor is, and this seems pretty firm up here, thankfully. So we might be out of trouble soon. We're gonna make camp.
We have to make camp, yeah.
You always want to make a recovery the path of least resistance, and here we've decided that because it is kind of hard to pull out backwards, the mud is really, really high. In the front, it's still high, but there is a little bit of a path that's going to drag him very quickly up onto this higher, firmer ground. So we'll use the front ARB recovery point and try and whip him up there. And Josh is going to have the joy of connecting that.
And driving. Window up so you don't get sprayed with mud. Oh! We're so close. Woohoo! Oh wow, that snatch strap earned its dollars this afternoon. The way it popped up, like it was sucked in there, that did a great job. Happy days, mate. We can head to camp now. Well, I'm not going to make those dunes tonight, but I honestly don't care. It has been one of the most enjoyable days four-wheel driving that I've had in quite a while. I do still love, after 15 years, pulling cars out of bogs. I think that's what I really love about it, because four-wheel driving, if it was predictable, it would not be an adventure. That's kind of cool that you're continually learning out here and adventuring and having fun, and there is still slices of Australia that you can go to and visit that you've never been to before. Fan-bloody-tastic.
We made camp out the back of the old telegraph station, where the old jetty provides a great home for these pied cormorants, although I'm not sure they appreciated our Nighthawk lights. We awoke to a grey day, and Ian took the opportunity to top up the tanks on his twin-turbo V6. Incidentally, it was using slightly less fuel than our diesels. Of course, it was a lot lighter too. First stop for the morning was a remnant of our colonial history, in the form of the intercolonial telegraph station. A strand of number 7 galvanised wire was strung across the continent and linked via telegraph stations like this one.
When you're driving through the scrub on the way to get here, you see these little chimneys poking out of the landscape, and then you arrive. This is a significant structure. It operated for 20 years from 1876, and to get their supplies in, they built a massive jetty, 89 metres long. There's not so much left of it now, but you can understand why they did it, because, well, they certainly didn't have fords to get through those bog holes on the way here.
It's a long haul up to Bilbunya Dunes, and the landscapes vary from long, salty clay pans to moonscapes and dunescapes.
When you're planning for your journey to Bilbunya, make sure that you plan fuel consumption as one of your highest priorities. Now, how do you actually calculate that when you're going off-road? Well, what I'd do is calculate your highest fuel burn and then add 10% to it. So you've got that little factor of safety. And if you start using more than you had actually calculated, spin around with your tail between your legs and head off and go back home. Don't rely on trying to drive conservatively or someone else coming along and helping you out so that you're stranded. There are no communications out here other than satellite communications. There's certainly no mobile phone range for this entire journey, and there is no close fuel nearby. So you need to be very self-reliant and be very generous with those fuel calculations. You really do want to make sure that you get out and you get back on your own.
Coming up, the Raptor takes on Bilbunya, plus one of Australia's prettiest beaches.
What a glorious sight up ahead. There they are, the Bilbunya sand dunes, and they just look magnificent. The tallest sand dunes in all of Australia.
How fantastic is that? And it looks like this giant finger of sand that's actually just running out into the ocean from this perspective. So I can't wait to see what they look like when I actually get closer and get into them. But my goodness, they look majestic, they look beautiful, they look a little bit foreboding. They're not small, that's for sure. Well, here it is. My bucket list Bilbunya is about to be in front of me. As I swing off the beach, oh my goodness, that is a thing of beauty. Boys, have you ever seen anything quite so magnificent?
Wow, that's all I can say. They are stunning. Look at the colour.
It's like Everest, but in sand.
It really is. They are monsters. It's kind of funny. I was expecting, oh yeah, we're just going to drive these dunes. I'm looking at this and I'm looking at the sheer sides and the sheer height. I don't know that we're going to be doing much dune driving on the big stuff.
They genuinely do look like mountains of sand more so than dunes, any dune that I've ever seen. Even the peaks on them, they look sharp.
They look formidable. Yeah. Depends on how soft they are, so let's go and have a look.
Oh yeah.
It reminds me of when you bake a cake as a kid and you make that big mound of perfect white flour. If you could drive up that in your little toy car, that'd be similar to what we're doing now.
This is just a different experience. It's, gee, they're hard to read though. I don't know if you guys found that. Yeah, it's just hard to find where they drop off, where they start and when they finish, because especially at this time of day with all that light on them, you can't, it's so hard to tell.
The road to the peak looks certainly doable from here, Pat, I reckon.
Well, should the Raptor lead the way then, if you think it's doable?
Let's do it.
What's he trying to write in the sand over there?
Wow, good effort. We lost the drone there too.
I kind of got up halfway and it felt quite firm, and then all of a sudden it became soft, so definitely not the way up.
This is rather exhilarating, boys.
Mate, I've seen some things and done some stuff, but neither the stuff nor the things compare to what I'm doing now with you guys. What a special place.
It's a bit hard keeping up with that red thing.
This is like driving with your eyes closed. You just up one big white mountain and then the world disappears in front of you.
And you never know, Pat, you might have to grab those keys from my hand as well.
Well, how about I do that now, eh?
Let's do it.
Look at this. This is a red and a racy interior. It's a little bit fancier than my Everest. Oh my goodness. But this is the spiritual home of a Raptor, the biggest sand dunes in Australia. So let's see what this bad boy has. This is a proper bad boy. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I've just stepped into a rally car. Now I understand why he was driving like a madman. Okay, now we're going to have a go and see if the Raptor can go where no Raptor and possibly no four-wheel drive has ever gone before. We're going to attempt to climb this big bugger.
That's too easy. That is hilarious. What an incredible experience to drive Australia's officially tallest sand dunes, and the icing on the cake to drive it in a 300 kilowatt Raptor. I think I'll die happy now.
Well done. Not just my first time, but your first crack as well.
Absolutely. It was epic, wasn't it? But I tell you what, the Everest and the Ranger both did really well, you know?
And it's not finished yet. So yeah, cheers again,
cheers.
boys.
Cheers, thank you.
It was genuinely sad to leave Bilbunya, but boy, did we leave on a high, only to continue our westward adventure. Still to come, one hell of a rock drive near Esperance and a beach drive for your bucket list. Around 45 minutes drive out of Esperance lies a beach that you may well think is perfection itself. Although with a bitumen strip to the door, as opposed to my preference of red dirt, well, it's not exactly perfect. Thankfully, you can escape the bitumen and drive straight onto some of the purest, whitest sands in Australia. Welcome, my friends, to Lucky Bay, Western Australia. It is possible to camp here, but you'll have to book well in advance for that privilege. There's not a lot of shade out here, so we flipped out the Bushwhacker 180 and 270-degree awnings, tucked into the angle and prepared for a fresh seaside feast. And with water like this, who could resist getting wet? So after that nice freshen up, I still had another incredible destination for the boys, which incidentally isn't a hard thing to do over here in the West. They're bloody everywhere.
So, Pat, where have you brought us this time?
Well, mate, I thought this journey needed a little cherry on top. Not that we haven't seen some pretty awesome places, but this one is nice and close to Esperance, but it is a little bit spectacular. We're going to start in the Mullet Lake Nature Reserve, and then we're going to head to somewhere that has one of the best views, I think, from a four-wheel drive track in Western Australia.
Wow, you keep on bringing to these awesome places. Sounds great.
Considering these destinations have only got better and better everywhere we go, I am beyond keen to see where we are going to end up.
Well, I hope I don't let you down, but by the looks of this gorgeous white sand in front of us, I don't think there's any chance of that.
Wow, awesome. You can see everywhere from here, can't you? All the way around the bay. Beautiful.
And what a great place to get your beginner's legs in terms of sand driving, hey? You know, it's nice, it's a little bit challenging, but it's not overwhelming like Bilbunya would be. Having said that, there's a ripping drop off here. Oh, this is good.
Pat, I swear that big rock over on our right has tracks going up it.
Oh, mate, we may be heading there later. You may be correct.
And what is that big rock, Pat? What's it called?
It's called Wiley Rock, mate, and that is the icing on our cake. That is the end of our journey over there. Look at this. What a beautiful beach. This confluence of waters, I guess I'd call it, with that beautiful little island out there. Well, boys, we're going to get to climb that nice big rock in front of us.
Holy moly.
Fantastic.
Okay, seatbelt on, and I'm going to have a crack at Wiley Rock. I have engaged my rear differential lock and my low range, and I'm just going to slowly cruise up, turn off my little parking sensor.
and start the climb. It's a steep rock, man. But the nice thing about it is there's buckets of traction. Low tire pressure is the key up here. And one eye on the view and one eye on where you need to go. Oh, wow.
I don't even know what to say. This is bizarre. It's like a sand dune, but with, well, I guess it's a prehistoric sand dune, isn't it? A fossilized one. What a country we live in. Where doing this is legal and almost encouraged.
What a superb way to cap off an incredible run along the Great Australian Bight. And while the crawl up was a blast, the run down was every bit as awesome.
Oh mate, it has been an absolute pleasure to have a proper four-wheel driver with the knowledge that you've got on board, and just a general bloody good bloke as well. So I hope this isn't the last trip.
Absolutely. If you keep inviting me, I might still keep coming along.
Wow, that brings us to the end of, for me, what was a really, really epic adventure. Twilight, Cove, Baxter Cliffs, Lucky Bay, and my goodness, Bilbunya, the biggest sand dunes in Australia. I've managed to tick this off my bucket list, and I sincerely hope that you get to tick it off your bucket list one day as well. I've had an absolute blast travelling with my mates Ian and Josh through this region. It has been extra special. I'm Pat Callinan, and until next time, keep the shiny side up.